You know those moments when you're trying to focus, but your mind drifts into territory you wish it wouldn't. Perhaps you're sitting at your desk, staring at the screen, trying earnestly to concentrate on a task at hand. You might find yourself replaying a conversation, each word looping in your mind, analyzing them with such detail that you convince yourself you might have said the wrong thing or misunderstood the other person's intentions. It becomes all too easy to feel convinced that you somehow missed the mark in some invisible way, even if there's no tangible evidence to support this nagging worry. Or it might be something straightforward, like getting a project update at work about a task or report, and suddenly your inner dialogue kicks into overdrive. You immediately begin to assume you won't measure up, just because of one tiny misstep in an otherwise solid performance. Your heart starts to tighten, your chest feels heavy, and anxiety has a way of making you second-guess every decision, every little action from which you ought to derive confidence. It's as if a menacing script of self-doubt quietly runs in the background, whispering insidiously about your supposed inadequacies, sowing seeds of doubt at every opportunity. These thoughts, they often seem to arrive uninvited. You know how this feels, don't you? Just when you're settling into what should be a peaceful moment, with tranquility within reach, they sit heavily on your shoulders as if they were waiting for the moment your defenses were down. Suddenly you might find yourself noticing how little things become magnified, far beyond their actual significance, and before you know it, they cast a shadow over the rest of your day, coloring even the brightest moments with their grayness. For instance, you might notice this creeping unease while sifting through emails, where each subject line or response seems charged with hidden meanings questioning your competence. Or it could happen when you're on your way to meet a good friend, walking through familiar streets, and suddenly doubts about your relationships arise unexpectedly, plaguing you with irrational fears that they might be more fragile than they actually are. It's a confusion that leaves you questioning the very ground you stand on. No soul is untouched by these whispers, they are a universal struggle. It's like wandering through a dense fog, where clarity seems always just out of reach no matter how much you strain to see ahead. You might find yourself asking, desperately almost, why do these feelings come at the worst times? Even in the midst of what should be joyful occasions, those moments intended for pure bliss or satisfaction, these thoughts can feel like uninvited guests. They have a way of turning up from nowhere, insisting on their presence, demanding acknowledgement, and pulling insistently at your fragile sense of peace. It's disconcerting how these unwelcome thoughts can creep into spaces that felt safe just moments before, unceremoniously edging out joy. Perhaps you've started to notice patterns where these intrusive thoughts tend to surface with startling regularity. You could be standing in line at the grocery store, your mind adrift, when you happen to catch sight of someone you haven't seen in years. It triggers a flood of old insecurities, the kind that were buried beneath layers of rationalized comfort. Or imagine, just before trying something new, something exciting that you've been eagerly awaiting, like an endeavor you've planned meticulously for, those familiar thoughts begin to resurface. They will remind you relentlessly of past failures, as if ensuring that excitement falters before it even fully blooms. It's draining, isn't it? Draining to have your inner critic continually judge, scorn, and sometimes belittle the spirit within you that craves positivity and encouragement. At times, these self-sabotaging thoughts seem to masquerade as protectors, warning you of potential pitfalls ahead. They carry the facade of seasoned wisdom, offering caution but devoid of comfort. But these thoughts, though formidable and convincing, frequently lack the final word. They can deceive you into believing that the mistakes define you, that you are somehow not enough, a false narrative that undermines the truth of your being, leaving you feeling exposed and unworthy. But take a pause for a moment and reflect on who you truly are, beloved and seen. It's easy to get lost, to let these thoughts blur your vision, clouding the truth that Jesus is gently, steadily near at all times. This nearness isn't something earned through merit or perfect actions. It simply is because of his boundless love. In times when you feel like your own heart is an adversary, remember that he is not swayed by your doubts or inflated imperfections. His perception of you remains steadfast and loving beyond measure, unmoved by the changing tides of your internal dialogue. Think about a moment when worry grips you tightly, perhaps as you stand thinking there's no way forward with the overwhelming mountain of tasks ahead. It could be something as simple as finding yourself utterly stuck in seemingly endless traffic on a busy road, while your inner dialogue turns more critical with each passing minute. Consider how, even then, you are never walking alone. Even when thoughts threaten to unravel your center, Jesus' presence remains constant, unaffected by the turbulence churning within your mind and heart. His stability is a pillar amid the chaos, anchoring you in times of storm. Jesus calls you to release these burdens. It's not an expectation of a grand dramatic gesture occurring through some monumental event, but rather a gentle invitation expressed in the small moments of your daily life, right now, perhaps. When you find yourself settling into a rhythm of racing, rushing thoughts, he offers a quieter space within, a serene shelter. His whispers are laden with truth, offering the comforting assurance that you are seen, understood, and deeply loved. As these unwanted thoughts knock insistently on the door of your mind, demanding engagement, remember that instead of letting them dictate your worth, recall and rest in what he speaks over you, a reflection of your true value. Consider how often you might dwell on past mistakes, looping them in endless replay as if rewriting old scenes of regret can somehow alter the script of your future. But know that with Jesus, every day is a new creation, every moment an opportunity for grace to shine through the cracks of imperfection. His light isn't obstructed by what you perceive as failures, rather, it embraces what's broken and heals it with tender love. This present moment is blessed with the possibility of transformation. You are invited to engage these thoughts, not flee from them. To courageously sit with them, examine them, and explore their roots, but not let them dictate or root your identity. Facing them with honesty and courage is the first step toward recognizing them for what they truly are, transient whispers with no real power over you. As you lay bare these struggles and vulnerabilities before him, know this: Jesus is infinitely patient. He does not rush you, nor does he scold or shame you, but walks slowly, at your pace, attending tenderly to your heart's need for healing and truth. He is attuned to your slow journey toward wholeness. Reflect on how he addresses you not with condemnation or harsh judgment, but with a reassurance deeply rooted in unwavering love. While your mind may spin elaborate tales of hopelessness or inadequacy, he offers a counter-narrative, one of gentle, unwavering support. It's a simple, profound truth. You are enough as you are because he has made you so, not through your striving or efforts, but because of his steadfast, comprehensive love. He sees beyond abilities and appearances to your very being. Imagine the next time those thoughts begin to convolute your focus, that swirling spiral of anxiety and doubt, that instead of succumbing, you bring them into the light of his encompassing love. The same gentle love that flowed through every parable he spoke on the dusty roads of ancient lands, every touch of healing he extended to the outcast and the weary, and in every moment he spent understanding those whom others overlooked. You, too, are capable of mindful engagement with these thoughts, through his strength and provision. Not every thought that enters your mind needs to be welcomed. Some can be observed, acknowledged, and allowed to pass like drifting clouds without entangling your soul. Remember to extend grace towards yourself when the noise of sabotage feels overwhelming. Jesus doesn't just speak love, he embodies it, offering a different narrative, a gentler companion through life's struggles. When you find yourself struggling and straining against these mental burdens, be reminded sweetly of his invitation to find rest. Rest that is not distant, but intimate and profoundly near to your spirit. So, when those thoughts visit you next, let them be a reminder to turn your gaze upwards towards Him. What these thoughts are trying to unreasonably take from you, He seeks to restore. It is His delight to do so. His presence is a quiet sanctuary where you can release what feels overwhelmingly heavy, wrapped in layers of mental agitation. Be encouraged to sit in this truth. His grace is more than enough to cover any insecurity. In these moments, allow yourself to lean wholeheartedly into His whispers of peace. You might be surprised to find that the silence soon follows, growing gently. The thoughts that once began to feel as roaring waves can lessen into gentle ripples as His truth finds its place in your heart. His love dispels fear, bringing calm to the storminess within. Ask yourself, where do Jesus' gentle truths speak louder in your reflections today? If these burdensome thoughts have indeed been overwhelming, consider seeking out avenues for continued reflections, those that breathe peace, hope, and a reassuring presence into the winding journey that is your life.